How many books did I sell self-publishing on Amazon KDP in April? Let's find out. So taking a quick look back at my goals that I set myself for the month, I wanted to publish 4 books on Amazon, receive 1,700 book orders, which would have made me a profit of around $2,500. Now, unfortunately, I didn't achieve any of these things this month. There's a few things that went on this month, but as you'll see later, I saw a dip towards the end of April. Now, I don't know whether that's around the economic situation at the moment, or it's just a little fall off in some of my books. The only way I'm going to find out is by keeping on going and see what happens in the future. But looking at what I got up to in April, I published 2 books on Amazon. One was a puzzle book for adults, and the other one was a bold and easy colouring book as well. Now, 2 colouring books in a month isn't enough for me. These took a little bit longer to make, and the ones I'm working on next are taking even longer as well. You know, I'm going higher quality rather than quantity. Now I've got a base, but I do need to put a bit more time into my books on Amazon. Over here on YouTube, I made 8 videos and 4 shorts, which got me 60,000 views. That's where I spent a bit more of my time in April. And then over on Etsy, I made 1 swear word colouring book listing. I'm testing selling colouring pages over on Etsy, as well as my book cover designs. So that's something that I'll be working on over the next few months. But onto what you all want to know, which is how many books did I sell in April? I sold 1,603 copies. So as you can see here, for the first 2-3 weeks, the orders were going really strong. Then I took a little bit of a dip around Easter, and unfortunately, for some reason, the orders haven't quite recovered to the level they were before. I don't have enough data on this, so it could just be a small blip, or as mentioned, maybe with some of the economical factors playing in, maybe people aren't making as many frivolous purchases that they don't really need on Amazon. But it's something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and hopefully those orders will go back up in May. But despite that slight fall off towards the end of the month, and me not getting as many orders as I did last month, zooming out, you can still see that we're growing over time. And that's what I want to be doing. I don't mind if there's a little bit of a fall back in April compared to March, as you can see here, because that happened last year as well. So if you go back to 2024, you can see that April compared to March was lower. And that's exactly what's happened this year as well. But the hope is that if we continue to create new books, the growth is going to continue like this over time. So sometimes when you're comparing month on month, it might not look so great. But if you zoom out and look year on year, that's where, for me, you can really see the growth. Taking a quick look at where I sell my books, the majority are in the United States. I do sell a good amount in the UK. Canada is rising gradually. And then I've also started pushing some ads in Germany, which has led to 63 sales in total for April. I have a few trickling along in Australia where I also run some ads, and then just a few random ones here and there on top of those. So all of those orders led to me making $3,553 in April on Amazon KDP. For my Brits out there, that's approximately £2,666. So a pretty good month in terms of income, but I'm not quite at the level I want to be at. And the main reason for that is just that slight fall off towards the end of the month. Now I just have to really hope that's going to get back up to those previous levels in May. Now, if you've watched these videos before, you'll know that that doesn't include things like my ads and my expenses. It's all great making $3,500, but that's not my take-home figure. And so I'm going to go through my ads now. So this is a snapshot across all of my marketplaces where I run my ads. And you can see here that I've spent $1,174 in ads and made 551 orders. So that's a little under a third of my sales on Amazon KDP are driven through my ads, which is great because that means over 2/3 are organic. But this graph almost mirrors my income as well. The fact that after Easter, the clicks, the orders and the spend were all lower than they were beforehand. So maybe there's more competition with ads towards the end of the month. Maybe some big publishers launched some new books that meant that my ads weren't serving as well. It's something that I'll keep an eye on, but it's interesting to see how this ad spend correlates with the orders and the income as well. I'm going to whip through my marketplaces for my ad spend for anyone who's interested in taking a little bit of a deeper dive. Feel free to pause this at the end of the slide if you want to look into the figures in more detail. But in the USA, I spent $420. In the UK, I spent £380. Canada, $106, Australia, $17, and in Germany, €137. Now, one of the main things to notice here is the strong ACOS across all of my marketplaces apart from Germany. I'm still trialing and launching books in Germany, so the hope is that ACOS will come down over time. But in the other marketplaces, I try and get my ACOS around 20%. Anything below that, like in Canada and Australia, is fantastic, but an ACOS of 20% tends to be break even or better for me. If you want to find out what ACOS actually is, click the link in the corner now, and you can watch a video breaking down what ACOS is and why it's important. Going into my results on my ad spend, I received 454 clicks, spent $1,174, received 551 orders through my ads, which meant that for every 8.2-ish clicks, I was getting an order. The average cost per click was 26 cents, which meant my estimated cost per sale was around $2.13. So that meant through all of my ads on April, it's costing me on average $2.13 to sell a book through ads. That's a great figure to know because when I'm launching a new book and I'm pricing it, I know that if I want to break even, I'll need to have on average a royalty of $2.13 for my book. As I mentioned, my ads in Germany aren't running quite as successfully as the other marketplaces so far. And so this was a snapshot of my ads in April. As you can see there, at the beginning of the month, I was spending a little bit more and getting more orders. But those orders weren't coming at a profitable ACOS. So I've tried to dial back the spend, which has meant that orders have fallen back as well. So I'm still trying to learn what's working in Germany. It's definitely very similar to the USA, but as I don't speak German, there's a bit more trial and error in there. And as you'll see from this data, the top 3 ads there are performing pretty well. In terms of the columns there next to the top of search impression share, you've got clicks, spend, cost per clicks, orders, sales, and ACOS. So the top 3 ads have driven orders. The second one there, a keyword ad, the ACOS isn't great at 52%. But that bottom ad there, where I've spent €15, has got me 0 orders from 37 clicks. So that's a different book from the 3 above. And that just shows that not every book's going to sell. So this is definitely a failed launch in Germany, whereas the other ones are going okay and they're actually selling. So what I've done is I've turned that mail book keyword ad off, which is a colouring book. And I've got all the other books above, which are activity books, still serving. Now getting back to my profit over on Amazon KDP, my income was $3,554. My ad spend was $1,174. My expenses was around $110. That's my Mid-Journey text-to-image AI software, my Adobe suite, and I also bought a book cover design over on Fiverr to test as well. So my expenses were $110 for the month. That meant my take-home profit for the month was $2,270. That's approximately £1,703. So a good month of self-publishing, but I do like to see month-on-month growth, which we haven't seen this month. Hopefully over the summer months things will start to continue again, and as always I'm building towards that Q4 boom. That's when those big purchases tend to happen, and we can see incredible months of sales and income on Amazon KDP. But I do want to chip away, keep releasing new books, and increase my sales, hopefully month on month, for the rest of the year. Taking a look at the insights for the month, as mentioned earlier, orders went down at the end of the month, wondering if whether it's something to do with the economy. Over in Germany, the adult colouring book performed very poorly. I don't know if that was just that one specific colouring book. I'll test another one and let you know. But my kids' activity books performed much better. My ad spend reduced from last month by about $400 to $500, so I probably need to up my bids on some of my existing ads. But my profit's pretty healthy, even if it is a small downswing compared to last month. Wrapping up April, not all book launches will work, so make sure you're budgeting accordingly. So let's say you've got 5 books to launch on Amazon KDP. One of them might perform really well, a couple of them might perform okay, and a couple of them might flop and hardly get any sales. That's a realistic expectation depending on the quality of your books, as well as the niche you're launching them in. So my advice here is just don't put everything you've got into one book launch. Make sure you're budgeting across multiple books. And even though books can sell for years, I think it's really important to keep creating new high quality books. And that's because over time, some of your books that were selling well previously are now facing more competition. So say if they were ranking at number 1 or number 2 for certain keywords, they might fall down to number 3, 4, 5, and therefore you're going to get less income from those books. So constantly creating new books on Amazon is a way to protect yourself a little bit from reduced sales on your better performing books, and hopefully over time continue to build for the future as well. And like you've seen on my ad results here, consider using additional marketplaces for your ads. So don't only use USA. Invest in UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, France, Spain, wherever you think your books might sell. It's definitely worth testing ads in those locations. Now, seeing as I didn't hit any of my goals for April, I've reduced my goals a little bit for May. I do, however, want to be harsh on myself and try and get 4 high quality books out there. I only managed 2 this month, so I really want to focus on that in May. I want to hit 1,500 book orders and hopefully get $2,400 in profit for the month. Will I achieve those goals? You'll have to tune in next month to find out. Now, if you want more information about how my books are performing, deeper dives into my ad spend, and extra insights into self-publishing on Amazon KDP, you can become a VIP member on the channel and then go into the membership tab, and I'll publish regular posts on there with additional information, stats, all of those kind of things. It's also a way to help this channel to keep on growing. And in the future, I'm planning some additional benefits for memberships as well, like monthly live streams, for example. If you don't want to pay for that membership, you can also sign up for my newsletter, where I share tons of tips and insights around self-publishing with Amazon KDP. All right, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.